Just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. You once thought we had a stimulus package? No, 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 no. Good morning, everyone. Welcome into Morning Invest on this December 23rd. Today is Festivus. If you are a fan of Seinfeld, today is the Feats of Strength. And in one side, you have President Trump throwing a Molotov cocktail into the stimulus negotiations last night, saying, I will not be signing this stimulus package. It's full of money for foreign governments. It's full of bloat. And by the way, it doesn't go far enough for American families. Take it back to your little piddly Congress and give me something that I can actually vote on and not veto. So that's where we are this morning. And then on the other side, you have congressional Republicans, Mitch McConnell, Turtle Boy, who was thinking he was going to be able to enjoy himself down there in Kentucky for Christmas, but looks like that's not going to happen. Now, all of Washington is stunned this morning. So we will be going through all of these pieces on the show this morning. We're also going to look at a number of right-wing news organizations having to walk with their tail between their legs for spewing misinformation about voter fraud and voting machine fraud throughout the election. They felt the need to put up all of these conspiracy theories on their air. And guess what? Now the threat of lawsuits looms in the air. It's like a little Christmas tale I just did there. Good morning, everyone. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. Turn on that little bell notification because we are live every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We are the only progressive morning news show that covers the issues that matter to you. You will not see this on your mainstream media. Flip on your CNN, your MSNBC, or any of the rest of them. They're all run by billionaires. So thank you for supporting independent journalism. Grover's running around this morning somewhere. I don't know where he is. He's got a vacant bed on Grover Cam this morning. David is in the control booth. How are you doing, my friend?
Good
He's
morning.
Our producer.
I am good.
Top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning to you too, sir.
Here, put him in the Grover Cam here, buddy. Here's Grover. He's going out for a little walk with the kids because they are home from school. Put on his little raincoat today. Put on his little raincoat. There he is. So earlier this morning, Grover, okay, my little girl wants to say hi. Say they are home from school. Say hi.
Hi.
Say Happy Festivus.
Happy Festivus.
She's like, what the heck is Festivus? She doesn't even know what Seinfeld is. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Grover knows what Festivus is because he was having feats of strength this morning from trying to take on a cat outside.
Nice.
So here he was this morning trying to take on the cat, this like black cat that's outside of the building. He runs right up to it. And he talks a good game, right? He likes to shit talk. But this cat was having none of it. Watch.
He's a silver sticker.
Cat's like, what the heck are you doing? You know what? I'm the cat, and Grover is playing the part of an internet troll right now. I'm like, yeah, see ya. See ya. All right, guys, taking them on a walk? All right. All right, good morning, everyone. Happy Festivus.
Bye.
Bye.
And
Happy Festivus. We've got if you're just tuning in, thank you so much for joining us. We've got a busy show for you this morning. We're going to start the show in about 6 minutes. This is our little pre-show where we get to welcome everyone in and say hello. I hope everyone is doing well. What do you guys have planned? It's December 23rd. Okay, we got a few more days till Christmas. David, have you done all your Christmas shopping?
Yeah, we actually don't really celebrate it here. So we have somebody coming over. We're going to be live streaming and eating tacos. So I guess tacos have become our holiday thing.
I love it. Tacos. Every holiday, it's tacos at David's house. I love it. Yeah. I mean, my wife and I were like, let's just keep the gifts to a minimum. Let's just, to us, it's all about the kids, just seeing the look on our kids' faces,
Yeah.
So
I'm sure if we had kids, we'd do the same. But
it's funny when we didn't have kids and we were single, we were like, oh, it's Christmas. Let's have a good dinner, and now it's, now we've got, Elf on the Shelf who's moving around every day. I mean, we've got Christmas cookies and So I love it though. I fall for all the tropes though. I love the Christmas tree. I love the music. I love this time of the season, this time of the year. Plus, it's my birthday on December 31st, so I get that little December ambiance here.
Yeah, we do. We have been
Hey, your
listening
birthday
to
is today, Mark
Christmas music.
Plum. Your birthday is today. Oh, you've been listening to Christmas music?
Yeah, we do that. We like jazzy stuff.
Oh, I do too. I'm a big jazz fan. Well, I named my son Miles after Miles Davis. But so one of my favorite, we play a game. I don't know and we're going to start the show here in about 4 minutes as we dive into all of the stimulus news and some big, huge news overnight in Washington. We will get to all of that. But we play a game in our family. We start it right after Thanksgiving that we each pick a song. We each pick our favorite Christmas song. And then however many times we hear it through the Christmas season, whoever wins gets to pick their dinner of choice and go out to dinner.
Oh, nice.
So we keep a chart, and like Daddy's point, and 2 people have to hear the song. You can't, like, I can't just hear it on my own. I have to have a witness. So mine is Last Christmas by Wham. Because I love that song.
That is a good song.
And when I was on the network news, I used to joke about how much I love that song, and people would write in and tweet like, I like that too, and other people like, it's awful. So what I did one day in front of 2 million viewers when I was on my morning show, I said, okay, everyone who has and I used the the Amazon Echo name, and I say, okay, blank. Play Last Christmas by Wham. And all of these viewers around the world wrote to me and said that their Amazon Echo went off, started playing that song. I said that was a huge win.
I do that all the time on my streams. I'll say play like Justin Bieber or Britney Spears, and I'll do hey Amazon, play this song, and then I'll say hey Google, play this other song, and I get them fighting.
Do you know, by the way, now our podcast, Morning Invest, if you want to listen to the audio version of our podcast, you can just say, hey, your favorite device of choice. You want to do Siri or you want to do, Amazon's dingus. You can say, hey, play the Morning Invest podcast. And guess what will happen? Boom. It'll automatically start playing. Isn't that cool? So you can do that. That's how it works. Also, I just want to tell you this. This is a little Christmas present I got for myself. Here's a little thing about me. I can't stand dirty floors. Like, I hate dusty, dirty floors. I hate also kids that don't respect when Daddy's doing a television show. Okay. I also don't like dirty carpet. It freaks me out. So I bought myself... This is my Christmas present to myself, a steam cleaner, a carpet steam cleaner. And you would have never seen a happier person yesterday. I was cleaning everything I could around the house. Oh, yeah. Welcome to my new Bissell steam cleaning carpet machine. I love you. Let me just tell you, it's got 2 different modes. You can do it by hand, or you can use the entire long part of it.
You can do it by hand.
I was cleaning carpets like crazy yesterday.
I was cleaning carpets like crazy.
I love you, Bissell. My steam cleaning carpet machine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we have this one, when you got a new puppy and you got some accidents that happen, and that's Grover is a relatively new puppy now. He's only 10 months old. And so I went to town, and it was a glorious thing. It was so satisfying, like to clean the rugs and carpet. And I was cleaning chairs. I'm like, anybody else need anything steam cleaned? It was my afternoon yesterday after the show.
Like the kid that gets the lawnmower and goes around and mows people's lawns. You're going around and shampooing carpets.
Right. I love someone, what is it? Trevoria says, congratulations, Clayton. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Dolores, thank you. Dolores Smith, dear heavens, Clayton, I know. Hey, when you're 43 years old, this is the stuff that excites you. Oh, boy. All right, we're going to start the show here in about 10 seconds. Buckle your seatbelts, everyone. Get a cup of coffee. We're in for a busy one.
Yep, you got 5 seconds to get it.
right. Welcome into Morning Invest on this December 23rd. It is Festivus. If you're a fan of Seinfeld, that means feats of strength. And on the one side, you have Donald Trump, who threw a bomb into Washington last night, taking to Twitter with a video talking about, first of all, voter fraud and election fraud. We'll get to all of that. But the main message, the main 4 minutes of his message that was most important to me was his claim that the stimulus package is a big pile of heaping, steaming crap, and that he wants it to go back to the Senate and for him to receive an actual bill that has money for the American people, upwards of $2,000 per person, $4,000 per couple, and to remove all of the money that's going to foreign governments. There's so much fat and waste in this thing, which we've been cataloging over the past few days. So what will happen now? I'll tell you what Democrats are saying. I'll tell you what Wall Street is saying this morning. Boy, there's so much to unpack with this. We've got some breaking news on that just moments ago. We also have breaking news at this hour now on jobs numbers, new jobless numbers just out, and they are not good. We'll dive into those numbers in a few moments. Those just coming. Normally they come out on a Thursday, but because Christmas is Friday, they've bumped these numbers up a day. So we get them today and not Thursday. All of that and more, plus how the right-wing networks, the media networks, like the Newsmaxes and the OANs are getting owned this morning. It's one thing when you go on the air and you just want to foist your ridiculous claims about a company, make stuff up and invite guests on your air to, scatter propaganda. It's quite another thing, though, that when that company says, you're full of crap, or we're telling you to retract this statement or we're going to sue you. What do these right-wing news organizations do? Walking away with their tail between their legs this morning. We're going to show you some stunning video on that on the show today. All of that and more coming up on the show. Before we get to the news, I want to tell you about our friends over at Birch Gold. Many of you have asked, how do I get my money out of this corrupt banking system? I don't want it to be in Wall Street. I don't want it to be tied to the Federal Reserve where they're printing money like crazy. And where I buy gold is where you should check out and get your free gold kit. You don't even have to buy gold. Just check it out and learn about buying actual real currency, actual things, not paper fiat currency like our government prints. So what you need to do is just go to get your free gold kit. Go to morninginvest.com/gold. And you'll be able to download it and learn about it. And then if you'd like to buy gold with Birch Gold, you can. You can buy gold and silver right there. And they are giving away free silver if you make your first purchase of gold. So check them out. And the minimum purchase is $5,000 for gold. But it's not fake gold, by the way. It's not like paper gold. They will send gold to your house. This is the type of gold I encourage you to invest in, not the Wall Street type of gold, which is just paper currency. So again, go to morninginvest.com/gold to get your free gold kit and start accumulating real gold and real silver. This is why countries around the world are stockpiling gold and precious metals, because they realize the big collapse is coming in the stock market in the next few months. So please be careful and protect yourself. All right, we're going to get to the show today. First, hey, welcome in David. He's in our control booth. Producer
Hello.
David, happy Festivus to you, my friend.
Festivus for the rest of us.
One of my favorite Seinfeld episodes, by the way. We were told when I worked in mainstream media, stop doing Festivus stories. It's not a real holiday. Like, you don't know. This is why I don't work for the mainstream media anymore. Don't tell me I can't do a Festivus story. So on this show, I don't have any corporate overlords, any billionaires telling me what to say. I can cover the stories I want to, and I will cover Festivus and the feats of strength.
And on Thanksgiving, during Thanksgiving time, we celebrated Wolfenoot. So
there you go. Wolfenoot. Never heard of that before, but what is Wolfenoot, by the way?
it's for dog lovers. It's a kid. I think he was like 7 years old or something like that. Came up with it, and his mom posted it on Facebook just being funny, and it went viral. And now it has a dedicated website and everything. So this year we were like, you know what? We're away on vacation. Let's celebrate Wolfenoot. So that's what we did.
I love it. Frank Grimes, thank you for your super chat, as well as Sonic 1987. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching our channel and supporting independent journalism. You know, when you support this show, you can do that in a couple of ways, right, David? You can become a channel member by going to morninginvest.com/join. and becoming a channel member. But if you can't afford that or you don't want to do that, it's $1.99 a month. We try to make it as cheap as possible. You can also share this video with a loved one. Share it with your friends. Share it on Twitter, on Facebook. And you can frankly just subscribe to the channel. That is a huge support to us as well. We put a lot of work into this show every day. And we've been talking about, I'd like to be able to do consistent live streams at night if I can. So 9 in the morning and also at nighttime, I'm really trying to take things to the next level here. So thank you for supporting independent journalism. We are not bought and sold by mainstream media. So thanks to all of you. All right, everyone. I've got my iced coffee. This is not a Guinness, although I should be drinking because holy smokes, this stimulus news is bonkers. Before we get to the stimulus news, I do want to give you the breaking news, which we just got moments ago, and it's on these jobless numbers. Because think about all of this stimulus talk is against this backdrop of people being laid off. U.S. jobless claims fell to 803,000 last week. That's a retreat from a 3-month high, showing a broader sign of an economic recovery. This is slowing down, really slowing down, broader signs of a slowing economic recovery. The latest data came as state and local municipalities impose fresh restrictions on social and business activity to curb these incredible numbers of coronavirus cases over the past few weeks. The rollout of coronavirus vaccines provides some room for optimism in these numbers, but jobless claims during the pandemic have held steadily throughout this time. Even with the widespread distribution of the vaccine, it's not going to be, there's going to be widespread scarring in the labor market and continuing. And existing home sales, this has been a bright spot. We've been hearing from President Trump, the housing market. Remember, he said that just a few weeks. The housing market's great. Well, now that's a slowing down. Fell 2.5% in November from October, going down, down, down. So home sales slipping. And these initial jobless claims have fallen sharply from nearly 7 million in late March, but they're holding steady right around that 800,000 mark, and it's not getting better. On to the stimulus news now. So President Trump last night, now, if you watch my show for any length of time, you know that I've interviewed President Trump, I don't know, close to 30, 35 times, I think. I don't know. I lost count. But one thing that I know about him is he's a master of media manipulation, controlling that narrative so that he owns the news cycle. And what did I say to you the other day if you were watching my show? There's no positive sign that President Trump is going to sign this bill. Everyone, YouTube, everyone else was saying, I watched Lester Holt on NBC saying, here's exactly when you can expect your stimulus check. They should start rolling out on this day, on this day. Okay, but that's all contingent upon President Trump actually signing a bill. And I said yesterday morning when we were doing our live show, why didn't the president come out first thing in the morning, say anything about it? He didn't tweet about it. He didn't talk about it. He didn't hold a ceremony to sign the bill. No. So until last night, what did he do? He gets on the microphone, releases a 14-minute video on Twitter, and blasts the stimulus bill, sending it back to the Senate for him to get foreign government money pulled out of this thing, larger stimulus checks for the American people, upwards of $2,000 per person, $4,000 for couples. And he wants all of this money that's going to foreign governments removed. I mean, he just lobbed a bomb in there. And I just don't get it. I don't understand Wall Street at all, because here's Wall Street this morning, Wall Street Journal. Stock futures drifted higher as investors shrugged off President Trump's request for the coronavirus aid package to be amended. Are you out of your friggin' mind? You're just shrugging this off? He's serious. He wants to take Mitch McConnell down with him. He wants to own both portions of the Republican Party right now, the Trump side and this middle of the road centrist side. He wants to own both sides of it. He's playing both sides of the fence, and he wants to be the leader of the Republican Party. And he doesn't like all of this talk going around right now of Joe Biden. Joe Biden's the most relevant person right now. No, I am. I'm still your president for another 30 days. Or maybe beyond that, if I can prove election fraud. So here he is last night with his 4-minute, or here's the most, I cut out the most relevant section for you here. This is the most relevant section of him talking about this stimulus bill and what he wants to send back to the Senate.
Throughout the summer, Democrats cruelly blocked COVID relief legislation in an effort to advance their extreme left-wing agenda and influence the election. Then, a few months ago, Congress started negotiations on a new package to get urgently needed help to the American people. It's taken forever. However, the bill they are now planning to send back to my desk is much different than anticipated. It really is a disgrace. For example, among the more than 5,000 pages in this bill.
Hold on a second. Let me just call some BS on you here. Remember Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, your henchman, Mr. Trump, was negotiating this bill for months. He was sitting at the table with them in negotiations. He fully knew what was in this thing. He approved the $600 checks to the American people. So you're going to pretend like this is a mystery that just showed up on your desk? Horseshit. Continue.
Which nobody in Congress has read because of its length and complexity. It's called the COVID relief bill, but it has almost nothing to do with COVID.
True.
This bill contains $85.5 million for assistance to Cambodia.
Yeah, Cambodia. We're sending millions to Cambodia, Venezuela, Israel.
$134 million to Burma, $1.3 billion for Egypt and the Egyptian military, which will go out and buy almost exclusively Russian military equipment. $25 million for democracy and gender programs in Pakistan.
Pakistan. Okay, continue. But we can't give you money more than $600, can we? No, but we can send money to Pakistan for gender programs. You know, which I'm sure on their own merit would be fine. Like, I'm sure that people could raise money and donate money to Pakistan for gender programs. Why are American taxpayers paying for this stuff? And they jam all of this stuff together, and they're hoping that you won't pay attention.
I mean, that seems like it's
And
more of
that's
a charity
why-
thing. You know, like where you say a coalition of people
Right.
get together, they see it's something that needs help, and they raise their own money and send it over. We don't that makes us like if anything goes wrong with that program, we're all complicit in a way.
Right. Yeah, Americans, you know, they've created this gender program in Pakistan. I didn't know about it. Did you? I didn't know about it. You go through 6,000 pages. There's stuff in here, like, again, you know, tax deductions for racehorses. I mean, $1.4 billion for a border wall. I was curious that President Trump didn't mention that. There's $1.4 billion in this package for his border wall. What does that have to do with COVID? It was interesting that he sidestepped that point.
$505 million to Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Panama. $40 million for the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., which is not even open for business. $1 billion for the Smithsonian, and an additional $154 million for the National Gallery of Art. Likewise, these facilities are essentially not open. $7 million for reef fish management.
I could just like picture him reading the teleprompter. He's like, $7 million for reef fish management, salmon hatcheries.
$25 million to combat Asian carp.
They shouldn't- shouldn't that have
$25
just
million
went into the
to
military?
combat Asian carp.
Yeah, shouldn't that have just went in the
Right,
military
right.
budget?
We're going to combat Asian carp. Look, watch out. Come, that carp keeps attacking me.
A global force.
Watch out for that
carp.
Asian carp. Watch out. These Asian carp, they're coming at me. We have
don't
special
feed 'em.
training in our military.
Don't feed them though. You know, you're not supposed
Special
to feed the
carp training. Get out of here. Come here, you Asian carp. $25 million.
$2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico.
You get out your abacus. 1 fish, 2 fish, 3 fish, blue fish.
A provision to promote the breeding of fish in federal hatcheries. $3 million in poultry production technology. $2 million to research the impact of down trees. $566 million for construction projects at the FBI.
Yeah. So the FBI is going to get millions of dollars in the COVID relief package. We're going to study the effects of downed trees. Look, I'm an environmentalist. You're watching a progressive news channel. I care about the environment. If you read our newsletter this morning, you saw the story about plastics in women's placentas now. Yeah, I care about that stuff. Just as part of a COVID emergency bill that needs to get money out to you, downed trees studying should not be a part of this, nor should fighting Asian carp.
The bill also allows stimulus checks for the family members of illegal aliens, allowing them to get up to $1,800 each. This is far more than the Americans are given. Despite all of this wasteful spending and much more, the $900 billion package provides hardworking taxpayers with only $600 each in relief payments. And not enough money is given to small businesses, and in particular restaurants, whose owners have suffered so grievously. They were only given a deduction for others to use in business their restaurant for 2 years. This 2-year period must be withdrawn, which will allow the owners to obtain financing and get their restaurants back in condition. Congress can terminate it at a much later date, but 2 years is not acceptable. It's not enough. Congress found plenty of money for foreign countries, lobbyists, and special interests while sending the bare minimum to the American people who need it. It wasn't their fault. It was China's fault, not their fault. I am asking Congress to amend this bill and increase the ridiculously low $600 to $2,000 or $4,000 for a couple. I'm also asking Congress to immediately get rid of the wasteful and unnecessary items from this legislation.
I mean, I don't know if you just caught that. Huge. I'm asking Congress to amend the $600, push it up to $2,000 per person, which is, by the way, what Bernie Sanders wanted. They're simpatico right now. Bernie Sanders, President Trump, $2,000. Did you ever think you'd see the day? That's socialism, isn't it? Wait a minute. Isn't that socialism?
By the end, Bernie was only fighting for $1,200. So Trump's actually
right. Yeah, he's higher than that. Well, true, but Bernie had also had the Emergency Money for the People Act, which of course pushed for $2,000 per month, like Canada does and other countries do. $2,000 per month, and by the way, retroactively back until March of 2019 or 2020. Now, President Trump will not go that far. He simply wants $2,000, but that's even more than Bernie Sanders wants in that legislation, which was blocked by Republicans. Ron Johnson stood up and objected to just a standalone stimulus package. And you and I were texting overnight, David, like, why is Congress so weak-kneed that they couldn't have just put forth a money bill, stimulus checks bill? That's it, standalone. So Bernie Sanders did. Senator Josh Hawley did. What happened? Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, the Republican, blocked it, objected, and it never came up for a vote. Remember his name, folks. If you live in Wisconsin, I want you to remember Ron Johnson's name when you go to vote next time.
He's like, I'll be
what
damned.
He did for the American people.
I'll be damned if I'm going to let this bill through without my CARP amendment.
Right. Yeah. I want my fighting Asian carp amendment in this thing, so that when those carp start attacking people of Wisconsin, they are prepared. These carp, if they attack, I want everyone to have a lighter.
You'd have been dead. Carp
I know,
quick.
See, that's why the federal government needs to step in. I need a more effective carp fighting mechanism. Ron Johnson said no and objected to it. So now what in the world is going to happen? Well, President Trump threw down the gauntlet towards the end of this thing. Listen.
And to send me a suitable bill, or else the next administration will have to deliver a COVID relief package, and maybe that administration will be me, and we will get it done. Thank you very much.
So he was going so well there, right? Until the last thing. So the next administration will have to pass COVID relief because I'm not going to do it. But that next administration might be me. Oh, you were doing so well there, right? But here's what I laugh at. Where were you over the past few months, Mr. President? You make fun of Joe Biden in your speech last night for quote unquote hiding in a basement. And yet, where have you been showing your leadership on stimulus? You let your Treasury Secretary, Steven Mnuchin, and Mark Meadows, your chief of staff, argue on your behalf for a stimulus package. You listened to Mitch McConnell when he told you not to pass a $1.8 trillion stimulus package before the election. You deferred to Mitch McConnell, Turtle Boy. In all of this, you showed no leadership. And now, after there's a bill on your desk, you decide to step up and show some leadership? Now you want $2,000 in stimulus checks for the American people? Great, hallelujah. I would love now to see what Republicans are going to do, because we know what Democrats are going to do. Nancy Pelosi tweeted just right after this and said, absolutely, here's Nancy. Republicans repeatedly refused to say what amount the president wanted for direct checks. At last, the president has agreed to $2,000. Democrats are ready to bring this to the floor this week by unanimous consent. Let's do it. So she's ready to have a standalone vote on this stimulus provision. She's like, let's do it. Let's go right now. Come on. Steny Hoyer, also Democrat, one of the leaders in the House. Here he is. House Democrats fought for months to provide relief to the American people, which Republicans rejected at every turn. Now the president has agreed to direct payments of $2,000. We will ask for unanimous consent to pass a bill this week to give Americans this assistance. You think they're joking about it? No, we got some breaking news just a short time ago. Mike DeBonis tweeting this. He says, in case you thought this was a joke, it's not. Democrats are going to offer a unanimous consent motion at Christmas Eve, pro forma, on Christmas Eve, in the House of Representatives, to force Republicans to object on Christmas Eve. So tomorrow, folks, Christmas Eve, it's up to the Republicans now. And this is exactly what Trump wants. He wants discord among the Republicans right now. Those Republicans that turned their backs on him, said that they didn't support his fraudulent election claims. Mitch McConnell, this is his opportunity right now to throw a bomb into the mix. Elizabeth Warren also tweeting about this just a short time ago. 3 years ago today, Republicans popped champagne after passing a bill that gave the top 1% of Americans an average tax break of almost $50,000. Now, they practically had to be dragged, kicking and screaming, to agree to $600 in relief for working people. Their priorities are clear. Sure enough, they are.
Well, and even in the CARES Act, so the $5 trillion that went to businesses and stuff. Do you know how many businesses off the top of your head got that money? Just out of curiosity.
Of the $500 billion of the PPP money?
No, the $5 trillion that just got transferred to the.
Oh, $5 trillion.
Yeah, to bail out the airports.
I don't know how many businesses. No, and the thing is, the initial PPP money, it ran dry so quickly because big companies swooped in and grabbed as much of it as they could. They had to issue a second amendment to roll out more money. Again, you have these big businesses, the Wall Street firms and others, and the so-called big businesses that were 500 employees or less, right? Or they pretended to be small businesses like Shake Shack and others, who then ended up filing for those PPP loans when they shouldn't have. And then all these other actual small businesses, they didn't have any money left. And we've had over 100,000 small businesses close because they didn't get access to money.
Well, and I was just gonna point something out is like the fact that let's say it was 1,000. We know it wasn't that many businesses, but let's say it's 1,000 businesses, right? That got that money. I did the math and I divided 5 trillion by 330 million. So that's like roughly what we have in the United States. That would have been about $15,000 to each citizen of the United States. So if you take that and you take it and you divide it by like only 1,000 people got it, think about how much that was to them versus if that would have gone out to every U.S. citizen, that 5 trillion of our money. So we bailed them out when they didn't need it. That would have been like 15,000 per person.
Oh, isn't that how it goes? Let me ask you all in the chat right now. Like, what would have $15,000 have done for you and your family? Like if the government said, you know what, we're going to give you $2,000 a month for the rest of the year, or $1,000 a month for the rest of the year in a subsidizing of wages. What would that have done for you and your family? Instead, just looking at the numbers right now to answer your question, 700,000 businesses, along with doctors and dentists' offices, 700,000 businesses were approved for loans under the Paycheck Protection Program. And the Treasury named 650,000 companies. More than half of the emergency small business funds went to the large companies, of course.
And
of course, we showed you the list of, and it ran out. And we showed you the list of Republican-backed businesses that hated the CARES Act. They were calling on Washington to vote against it, saying what highway robbery this was, that we shouldn't pass it. And then, of course, the numbers were released just recently that show all of these right-wing companies that come out and slam help for the American people. They all took money. Hundreds of thousands of dollars they took. That's shocking, isn't it?
So
it's amazing that Mitch McConnell's family got money.
If you take that 5 trillion and divide it by 700,000, that's 7.143 million. Basically, if they each got the exact same, that's $7.3 million.
Right.
For companies that didn't need it.
Right. Companies that didn't need it. And, I come back to my famous, I'm going to have this printed out and I'm going to have this hung on my wall. My kids will be like, what is this, Daddy? Oh, this is where America's priorities are. We can spend $740 billion on defense spending when all of these other countries, look at Japan, right, on defense, yet they were able to subsidize 100% of wages in Japan. China. We're so worried about China. We need to now build more ships. We need to show our power in the South China Sea. Really? Do we not have enough in this budget to do that? Maybe it's because we're fighting Asian carp. Maybe that's why the bills are so bogged down with this. Fighting with Asian carp.
$1,800 each. This is far more than the Americans are given. Despite all of this wasteful spending and much more, the the breeding of fish in federal hatcheries, $3 million in poultry production technology, $2 million to research the impact of down trees in Panama, $40 million for the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., which is not even open for business, $1 billion for the Smithsonian, and an additional $154 million for the National Gallery of Art.
You know what?
Likewise, these facilities are
It's crazy to me that fish have better lobbyists than we the people.
Right.
Who are
These
lobbying
fish
for the
have manners.
Yes, we need to hire whoever's lobbying for the fish. We need to hire them because salmon, carp, like all these fish got stimulus money.
Yeah. Yeah. It's unbelievable. The Asian carp, we need to know how to fight them. This is important, guys. Look, I know you want stimulus money sent to you and your family so you can put food on the table this holiday season. But the Asian carp, this fish is attacking us. We need to be ready.
Essentially not open. $7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp.
This Asian carp is a huge problem, folks. They are attacking I won't even let my kids go outside at night anymore because Asian carp could be attacking.
And we're not just going to manage Asian carp. We're going to combat it.
We're going to combat these Asian carp. Get out your swords. Are these, that's a good question. Is Asian carp tasty? I don't know the answer to that. Someone just asked.
I've heard that you can eat carp as long as you get rid of the mud vein.
Oh, my God. So where are we on this? Well, guess what, folks? Just to put this all in perspective, President Trump calling for an additional $2,000 in stimulus checks. He says, take this bill, shove it, send it back to the Senate, pass something that actually helps the American people. Now he does this, by the way. Where was your leadership months ago, Mr. President? So everyone watching right now, you might be sitting there saying, yeah, this is great. Good for him. He's standing for us. Okay. Let me put this in perspective. In 3 days, folks, in 3 days, unemployment benefits for 12 million Americans officially expire. So everyone, wants to praise the president right now, and I'm saying, great. I'm glad you're throwing this Molotov cocktail into the Senate and screwing over your friend Turtle Boy Mitch McConnell. Great. I love that you're doing that. But so many millions of Americans are suffering right now. Where was your leadership on this months ago? And again, Mike DeBonis tweeting, in case you thought this was a joke, it's not. Democrats are going to offer a unanimous consent vote on Christmas Eve, tomorrow, to force Republicans to object to $2,000 stimulus checks. The question I have, though, is will they have time to go back? The president is calling for them to remove all of this stuff. He's asking them to remove all of this stuff from the bill. All of this money going to Cambodia and Egypt, money going to Venezuela and Ecuador, money going to Pakistan that's in this bill. I love that there's vaccine distribution money in this bill for other countries. Look, I'm all for helping other countries, but at the expense of the American people right now?
And yet,
we don't even have proper distribution in the United States, for crying out loud.
And yet nobody managed to sneak Medicare for All into it. Nobody managed to sneak anything really beneficial for the American people into the bill.
Right. Yeah, all this stuff that's shoved in this bill is all like helping foreign governments or lobbyists. That's it. I mean, fighting Asian carp. But Trump also didn't mention, and this is hypocrisy on Trump's part, he didn't mention anything about the $1.4 billion in this bill for his border wall that was supposed to be paid for by Mexico, by the way. Why didn't he bring that up? That was a convenient omission on his part, don't you think? If you'd like to become a channel member of our channel, you can. We've got 15 new members today. Thank you for supporting independent journalism. You can do so by going to morninginvest.com/join right now. Someone said when they clicked on that link, it took them to the newsletter sign up, which is weird. So one of our super chats said that. I don't believe so. Morninginvest.com/join should take you right here to become a channel member.
Yeah, morninginvest.com will take you to the newsletter, but...
Yeah. If you just go to morninginvest.com, then you can sign up for our free newsletter. But if you go to morninginvest.com/join, then you can become a channel member. I should mention, look, this could really throw Mitch McConnell under the bus and lose him the power of the speakership, because now what's happening in Georgia is very fascinating. You have Jon Ossoff, who's running against David Perdue in Georgia. He has now come out and tweeted, I support the president's position. How does that screw over David Perdue? David Perdue did not want stimulus checks in Georgia. He told Mitch McConnell, I'm getting hammered down here because I do not support stimulus checks for the American people. And of course, the famous video that came out that went viral, going against David Perdue, or going against David Perdue, shows I didn't want stimulus checks. I just wanted money from my big corporate donors. Well, now his opponent, Jon Ossoff, coming out saying, yes, guess what? I want stimulus checks. $2,000. I support the president. Here's a Democrat saying I support the president. What does that do to David Perdue? ties their hands now because Mitch McConnell doesn't want it. So what's going to happen now in the Senate? It's really fascinating. I mean, Trump's chaos ploy is the headline this morning on Axios. And Jonathan Swain, who's done some great reporting on all of this, he says, why is he doing this? So advisors are telling Axios this morning, you know, he pardoned 15 people yesterday, one of which was Papadopoulos, who sounds like Snuffleupagus, who was, of course, indicted for lying to the FBI. He gets a pardon, making false statements to the FBI about the Russian contacts and 4 military contractors convicted of killing Iraqi civilians. So he lied to the FBI. He gets a pardon. But he was one of the people yesterday, if you'll recall on our show, that advised the president to vote against veto this stimulus package because it was filled with crap. So he listened to Papadopoulos, and Papadopoulos gets a pardon. He also pardoned Representative Duncan Hunter of California, Chris Collins of New York. All of these people who were like really close and very close to President Trump, people who, went out on a limb and really stuck their necks out for him. Michael Schmidt last night, New York Times writer, says it's clear that many of them don't even meet the basic criteria to receive a typical Justice Department recommendation for a pardon. So that means that they operated essentially outside the system. People lobbying for Trump and his confidants. Now, the president making this populist case against a bill that his own Treasury Secretary helped negotiate? I mean, this is what I don't get. Is Treasury Secretary Mnuchin worked with Pelosi and McConnell and Senate Republicans on this bill? They supported this bill. The White House was a part of these negotiations. So how do you then come out and claim that this thing is, you didn't even know about it? Like, there's all this crap in here, you just don't even know about it. U.S. Representative Brandon Boyle says, I'm the co-sponsor of legislation for $2,000 stimulus checks, so I welcome the sudden support of real Donald Trump. There you go. So again, Donald Trump throwing a bomb into this process. Nancy Pelosi, Democrats, going to call attention to this and actually bring this to a vote on Christmas Eve separately from, I guess my big question in all of this, because here's what Nancy Pelosi says. Republicans repeatedly refused to say what amount the president wanted for direct checks. At last, the president has agreed to $2,000. Democrats are ready to bring this to the floor this week by unanimous consent. Let's do it. So I guess she's going to call Republicans bluffs on this. Will Mitch McConnell vote against this? Will Republicans vote against this on Christmas Eve? That's exactly what's about to happen, folks.
Well,
if you thought this thing was done, it's not.
This should inspire the progressives to force the vote on Medicare. You know what I mean? To use that like a forced vote. They're using that exact same thing here. Right. Progressives should take note.
Yeah, of course, the big push is for progressives to force a floor vote on Medicare for all so that we would have universal health care in this country, like so many other countries do, and force the hand of Nancy Pelosi to re-win her speakership at the beginning of January. This is an opportunity. Bring it to the floor. See who will vote against Medicare for all. And this is exactly what they're saying they're going to do on stimulus. I mean, again, look at all of these countries that have this military budget. All of these countries, most of these countries have a form of universal basic health care. France, Germany, the UK, Japan, all taking care of their citizens and not spending $740 billion on defense. Using a fraction of that budget to cover the things that matter to their citizens. $740 billion. Well, meanwhile, last night, President Trump took quite a bit of time at the beginning of his little press conference there to bash the election process. He was citing a number of fallacies, once again, from Sidney Powell, his lawyer, who has been, of course, running around the country in these various lawsuits. She's lost every one of them that she said she was going to win, that she was going to unleash the Kraken, right, on election fraud. And of course, there's been a number of different reports that have been on right-wing media over the past number of months where Newsmax and OAN and Fox and all these, they didn't have a problem putting on people on the air that were foisting these ridiculous claims about these voting machines. Dominion right? And Smartmatic, these two different voting machines companies. Well, something happened over the past couple of days, which has been fascinating to watch, which is all of these news programs are now having to walk all of this stuff back on the air and issuing retractions with threats of lawsuits looming over by Smartmatic, by Dominion, for spreading misinformation on their airwaves about the election. So Sidney Powell, of course, has been out there foisting ridiculous claims about all of this. And so here, watch this. This is amazing to watch, okay? Newsmax, which has been like the leader in spewing ridiculous information, they went so far as to say they're not even going to call, when he becomes president, they won't even call him legitimately the president. They won't call him president-elect. They're not going to call, or OAN, we're not going to call him president-elect. I think maybe that was OAN, but Newsmax. Nevertheless, they're like not going to pay legitimacy to the president for winning the election, the president-elect Biden. And by the way, what are they going to do when you're like 1 year into this whole cycle and you have to like have actual news coverage? Are you just going to call him Biden? Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to be a legitimate news organization? So they've been taking these Sidney Powell arguments about Dominion and these voting machines and all of this stuff and throwing out all sorts of crazy claims. Well, now, over the past few days, all of these right-wing news organizations have started issuing retractions live on the air on the very shows where they were promoting this crap. So watch this. This is like unbelievable video here. This was on, let me see where this first one is. Here it is. Let me show you.
Since Election Day, various guests, attorneys, and elected officials have appeared on Newsmax and offered opinions and claims about Smartmatic and Dominion Systems, both companies that offer voting software in the U.S. And Newsmax would like to clarify its news coverage and note that it has not reported as true certain claims made about these companies. There are several facts our viewers and readers should be aware of.
Oh, now. By the way, I love his name is John Tobacco.
Come on. It's
I'm
John Tabacho.
Tobacco.
It's John Tabacho.
John Tobacco. John Tobacco. I'm your source for real news. So now that we're being sued, I want to tell you the truth. So, and I love too, like, over the past few months, we've had a number of guests and lawyers who've spread false information on our air. Oh, so you didn't give them a platform to do that, did you? You kept having the same people on your air because you wanted to try to go as far to the right as possible because you saw what President Trump was doing by throwing bombs at Fox News. So here's your opportunity to, and by the way, they went up in the ratings, Newsmax did. They actually beat Fox in the 7 p.m. time slot. By the way, no one was watching Newsmax. I mean, like right now on our live stream, we have 15,000 people watching our live stream right now. That's even way more than what Newsmax was getting on a regular night on television. Think about that for a second. This show, independent journalism, is getting more viewers than a Newsmax show was getting. But then they started spewing all of this fake election stuff, and their ratings went up. And Trump started tweeting about them. Hey, you got to watch Newsmax. Stop watching Fox is what he would say. Come on over here. And what do you know? The ratings went up. Well, here's John Tobacco continuing his retraction.
Newsmax has found no evidence that either Dominion or Smartmatic owns the other or has any business association with each other. We have no evidence that Dominion uses Smartmatic software or vice versa.
But we felt the need, we repeatedly told you that they did. We had guests on regularly that said that they did. But now we'll tell you the truth.
No evidence has been offered that Dominion or Smartmatic used software or reprogrammed software that manipulated votes in the 2020 election. Smartmatic has stated that its software was only used in the 2020 election in Los Angeles, was not used in any battleground state contested by the Trump campaign. Newsmax has no evidence to the contrary. Dominion has stated the company has no ownership relationship with the Pelosi family, the Feinstein family, the Clinton family, Hugo Chavez, or the government of Venezuela. Neither Dominion nor Smartmatic has any relationship with George Soros. Smartmatic is a U.S. company and not owned by the Venezuelan government, Hugo Chavez, or any foreign official or entity.
This is hilarious. It's hilarious because they would go on the air and talk about how Hugo Chavez created these machines, to ensure that he would continue to win elections. And yet he's been dead since 2013. So Hugo Chavez has somehow been involved in the election process in the United States, I guess. Even Karl Rove last night was asked about this, the Sidney Powell claims. Karl Rove, the architect of George W. Bush's elections. Karl Rove, who, of course, would want a Republican to win the White House, came
John
out
Tobacco,
and slammed this entire...
he's
John
like...
Tobacco?
Yeah, he's like, if we hear any of you people saying any of this stuff anymore, we're going to send in the Asian cop and you're all going to be sleeping with the fishes.
I'm going to send some Asian carp after you. Slap you in the face. John Tobacco.
Smartmatic states that it has no operations in Venezuela, while the company did election projects in Venezuela from 2004 to 2017. It states it was never founded by Hugo Chavez, nor did it have a corrupt relationship with him or the Venezuelan government. For more on this, please go to our website at newsmax.com. Read facts about Dominion Smartmatic that you should know.
Oh, there you go. By the way, I love that John Tobacco, it looks like he was filling in for John Bachman. So John Bachman decided to go on vacation for Christmas, and John Tobacco had to come in and be the fall guy on that show. See, it's the John Bachman show. So John Tobacco, or Joe Tobacco, had to come in and do this. Do his bidding for him. Oh, I love it. And by the way, I did go to their website because I did want to read more about what Newsmax had to offer about this information. So I spent about an hour trying to dig through their website to learn about Smartmatic and to try to learn about Dominion. I wanted to hear the truth. But guess what? I couldn't find it anywhere on their website. I spent an hour trying to find it. So you really wanted to make it easy for me to find that information, didn't you? As you say at the very end here, this is information you should know. These organizations pretending to actually be journalists only when they're being sued. Here's Karl Rove talking about these ridiculous fallacies that have been floating around, and Sidney Powell using these in courtrooms. This is priceless to watch, by the way.
Ms. Powell has peddled theories that have little basis in fact. The idea that Hugo Chavez from the grave was somehow involved in stealing this year's election, and she was poured out in a courtroom recently where all of her expert witnesses, which, one of them was so highly prized that he had to have a code name and couldn't be revealed, and she sold him as a highly expert military intelligence analyst, turned out to be a mid-level computer programmer from Dallas who couldn't even pass the entrance exams for the 305th Intelligence Brigade in intelligence school. He couldn't even pass the exams, and he was her high-level advocate. She had another expert who couldn't tell the difference between election precincts and townships in Minnesota and Michigan, and claimed that 151% turnout in Wayne County, Michigan, when any idiot with access to Google and the county election returns could have seen that the turnout was 51%, not 151. I mean, what she has done to sort of, throw mud on the president through her antics is unbelievable. The president has been so ill-served by this crowd, and she's chief among them.
Well, of course, the president also didn't, distance himself from her, but then also didn't have to go out there and use these various arguments to his advantage, and going in front of the American people last night and echoing and echoing the same things that she's been saying, which have been laughed out of court. It's funny. You can go on these right-wing stations and make stuff up. You can hold press conferences and make a whole pile of crap up, right? But then when you actually have to go in front of a judge and present evidence, can't do it. That's shocking how that works. I think Karl Rove's calling her out about it. So again, these networks are now having to walk this back. It happened on OAN. It happened on a bunch of it. It happened on Fox. It happened on the Lou Dobbs show. The very shows where they were having these guys come on to talk about Dominion and Smartmatic and slamming them, saying they were tied to Hugo Chavez and all of this stuff. Guess what happens when you get a threat of a major, massive lawsuit, and you have to go on the air and start issuing retractions left and right? I mean, it shows you they're taking this seriously. I mean, these groups must have come together and said, "We're going to go after you." And this could be one of those things that brings down some of these networks. Better watch what you say. Get out there with some defamation lawsuits, you're going to be in some deep trouble. So, you know, where are we at in all of this? I look at what's going to happen over the next 24 hours, folks. If you're just tuning in, the President of the United States last night, again, threw water on this stimulus bill, demanding upwards of $2,000 in stimulus checks and $4,000 for a couple. He walked through a various number of reasons why why this bill is crap, because of all of the different provisions that are in here: money for Cambodia, money for Egypt, money for to protect ourselves against Asian carp, to study what the effects of a fallen tree. No shit. This is literally in the bill. We want to study the effect of a fallen tree. Here, I'll tell you what the effect is. It's on the ground. And it turns to dirt. Done. Why don't you send me $6 million?
Wonder if they got any money to find out if it actually makes a sound, too.
Right. Yeah. If a tree falls in the woods, and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound? Let's spend $6 million on that. Fish hatcheries. Money to Burma. Gender programs in Pakistan.
Well, and understand,
money deductions for racehorses.
This is a 5,500-page bill, so we're only talking about some of what's in there. Like, has anybody gone and, like, how big is the list of everything that's in there?
Well, you know, it's convenient that the president didn't mention anything last night about his border wall, because there are plenty of things in here that I'm sure he supports, right? I'm like, for instance, the 3 martini lunch provision. Trump pushed for this. The 3 martini lunch provision, which basically gives people, they are able to write off full expenses for their business at lunch when they go out to a meal with, you know, a client or whatever as a business expense. They get 100% write off instead of 50%, which is what it used to be. Of course, they're claiming that it'll help restaurants. It's not. All it's going to help is businesses. We know that, big businesses. But again, he doesn't make any mention of the fact that there's $1.4 billion in here to complete border wall projects. That's in here.
That is a lot of McDonald's Trump's going to be able to write off.
Right. So now he's calling for $2,000. And Senator Lindsey Graham, though, said, hey, look, this COVID-19 package, it's not perfect. It'll save jobs and lives. The sooner the bill becomes law, the better. So he disagrees with him. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's office has declined to comment on Trump's statements. Ray Dalio, though, thinks that we are headed for a major problem. Do you know who Ray Dalio is? Of course, he has one of the largest hedge funds in the world. And he has come out saying that the Blackwater hedge fund, he wrote the book called Principles. He was the one who accurately predicted the collapse in 2007, 2008. He's saying we are seeing a separation that is going to only end in conflict, that the American people right now are heading for a revolt. I mean, I don't know about a violent revolt. I don't know. But he's saying we're going to see conflict. He has studied, one of the things that he has studied is thousands of years of human history and governments and what happens when their debt is extremely high and when there's a huge separation between the haves and the have-nots. What happens? When wages are not subsidized, when people aren't taken care of, it leads to collapse. It leads to conflict. It leads to revolt. Here's Ray Dalio, the genius billionaire. Listen to what he has to say about this.
I think that the most important thing for the country is bringing the population together because the conflict is our biggest issue. And if you look at voting records, how conservative and how liberal the red and blue is, and how intransigent they are, the voting on the basis of policies and so on, they're, in order to bring the country together and not have a form of civil war, where there's movement, we're seeing the form of civil war. People are leaving to go from one place to another, partially for taxes, but also partially for other reasons. There has to be the bringing of the country together, but in a smart way, that we there's not just the giving of money and where it's needed there, and it is needed in places.
But Ray, I mean, you just used the word civil war in a sense.
Not in a sense. He used it. He's talking about, pay attention. Poppy. That's her name, Poppy. Poppy, pay attention. What he's saying is we are heading for conflict. Again, I come back to the Dark Knight Rises movie, right? Where Catwoman says to Bruce Wayne while they're at that big lavish party, and she says, you know, there's a reckoning coming, Bruce. You know, no longer can those who have keep taking from those who have not. There's a reckoning coming. And this is exactly what he's talking about. So when he says civil war, this is a revolt. This is what we're seeing.
I think if one reads history, one
That's a nice little shot. Poppy, have you read a book? Do you understand what we're going through right now? It's happening. People sleeping in their cars.
recognizes that some of the things that we've gotten used to in our lifetime, which is peace, harmony, productivity, those kinds of things, you cannot take for granted that you couldn't have circumstances that cause revolutionary changes. And I don't want to create a hyper worry, but I think that there is a polarity and a debt situation and circumstances in which there probably will have to be revolutionary type changes. Maybe they're the sort that happened in the 30s.
You talk about the 30s, so are you talking?
So will it be a New Deal style approach, which really still didn't affect most working class people? But will it be a more broad-based New Deal style approach that has, green new jobs? It has actual health care in the United States, has, universal basic health care to protect all of you, Medicare for all, free public college, helping the people least among us right now. Who, like if you join our private Discord channel, like we've got a food bank channel in our private Discord channel where our members are helping other members to get food on the table right now because they don't have enough to eat. One of our viewers literally found an egg in the back of her refrigerator. She didn't even know it was there. She's been eating cat food. This is happening. So when, Poppy's like, you're seriously Civil War? Here I am at CNN headquarters. I'm fine. In my lavish office here at CNN headquarters in New York, everything seems fine here. I just see a bunch of million dollar salary anchors walking around, and we've got food in our cafeteria here at CNN. We're fine. You really saying Civil War, Ray? Do you really mean that? And by the way, I love how they edited it too. Did you notice it was previously recorded and CNN's like, whoa. Let's edit this. If you missed that, I want to use, this is the mainstream media, folks. They're going to put this kind of stuff together and they're going to treat it as if it's, like a little scoop of sugar makes the medicine go down. We don't want to give you too much. Did you really just say Civil War? Watch his answer and then watch the jump cut edit. Or not a jump cut, but watch the edit here.
It's a polarity and a debt situation and circumstances in which there probably will have to be revolutionary type changes. Maybe they're the sort that happened in the 30s.
Look, edit. That's an edit right there, right? So what did he say? What did he say? He was saying maybe it'll be the revolutionary changes in the 30s. But it could also be, and where was he going with that? Could it also be the type of revolution that we saw during the Revolutionary War or the Civil War in the United States, where millions of Americans died? Let's edit that part, because we're CNN and we are run by billionaires, and we don't want people to be scared. We still want the rich to continue making money at the top. I just love that they edited that out. I mean, there's your mainstream media for you. So thank you for supporting independent journalism and enjoying our show here, where we will call out mainstream media and their BS and their lies to all of you. And we will continue to hold our government accountable so that you are taken care of. We need to be a unified voice. I want you to call your senators, your representatives, demand that they bring this $2,000 unanimous consent bill to the floor. Nancy Pelosi says she's going to. They are going to do it. So watch for them to bring this new UC vote to the floor by tomorrow for $2,000 stimulus checks for you and your family, and then upwards of $4,000 for couples. Who's got balls now? I can't wait to see it unfold. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. You can do so and subscribe right here by touching the little Santa hat right here, and the little subscribe button will pop up.
If you're on YouTube,
you can turn on that little bell notification. Oh yeah, if you're on YouTube. If you're on Twitch, you got to subscribe the other way, right? There's another little button down here. If you're watching us on Twitter, just hit the follow button. We do this show every day at 9 a.m. Eastern time. So thanks to all of you for joining us. Oh, by the way, our new Paranormal Post video is live. So if you love scary stories, unexplained mysteries, we published our new video last night over on our other YouTube channel. If you go to youtube.com/paranormalpost, paranormal post. Let me show you that real quick. It did really well. A lot of people loved it. There's 15 of the scariest photos that cannot be explained, and so many of you let me know which one was your scariest that you... So here it is right here, 15 of the scariest photos that can't be explained. So go to the Paranormal Post, youtube.com/paranormal post if you want to check out that stuff. We've got a UFO story that will be coming up very soon. We are editing it right now. So I hope you will get a chance to check that out. Saw some people saying that they're super excited about my steamer that I bought. So I'm super excited about it too. I'm telling you, this is the best gadget I bought in a long time. Love you, steamer. My Bissell steamer lets me clean carpets, get all the yuckiness out of there. I love it.
No more yuck.
If any of you want me to come over to your house and steam clean your carpets for you, I'll be there. They call me Mr. Steamer.
I clean in a Speedo.
I clean in a Speedo. My wife says she's never seen me so happy. I was like, hey, is there anything else around here I can steam clean? What else can I do? Thank you guys. Much love to all of you. Great chat this morning. Thanks everyone. Be sure to subscribe to our free newsletter. How many? We have 12,000, 13,000 people watching right now. If you're not, it's free. It's totally free. You should come over and go to morninginvest.com. Let me pull up. It's very simple to sign up. It's just a free newsletter. You get it delivered first thing in the morning. My wife and I write it every morning. We don't have any outside writers writing for us. It's just us. And we cover the stories we think are important for you and your family, covering the business stories and with a little bit of humor. Here is what the website looks like when you come over to... Oh, sorry, that's Morris Invest. That's my other. That's if you're interested in real estate investing. That's if you want to become a real estate investor. But I wanted to show you our newsletter. Sorry, I pulled up the wrong one here. I need to get these things set more easily in here. Oh, I can't. I'm sorry. I tried. I don't have the web browser up in time. Anyway, any questions you guys want to ask right now? Are you able to still get the YouTube comments up or no?
No. Oops.
No.
Nope.
One thing that I did kind of conveniently notice that Trump left out he didn't say anything about the money to Israel.
Oh, of course. Yeah, because he loves Israel so much. And by the way, Jared Kushner just had a courtyard at the embassy named after him. So he leaves out, he names all of these other countries, but he leaves out Israel. Good point. Convenient. And he left out mentioning his border wall, of course. Here's Morning Invest. Here's what our newsletter looks like. It's totally free. Come over and subscribe. Just go to morninginvest.com. Put in your email address. It'll be delivered right to your inbox. You can also win a bunch of free stuff because we're giving away mugs. And a lot of people who won mugs, your mugs are going out. Our Grover mugs. Those are going out for you in the mail. They just take a little while because of COVID at our manufacturing plant to get them built. But if you refer a number of people, you will get a free mug, and then we're also going to be giving away free sweatshirts and things like that as well. So thank you so much, everyone.
Hey, I got a question. What is your stream schedule going to be for the 24th and 25th? Just so people know.
Good question. I'm planning on doing a live show tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern time. That's my goal. I don't know about Christmas. Probably not going to do a show on Christmas. But I'm not quite sure about that. James Gilliam says, Clayton, I suggest you spend some time on rental investing. Maybe do like 15 minutes of your show on that. I thought about that, James. But here's the truth. I've got a whole separate YouTube channel just devoted to real estate investing. And it's laser focused on real estate investing. So if you want to learn how to invest your money in real estate, do what I do, building, properties, we are a full service real estate company there. So if you want that information, let me put that up. It's a YouTube channel. It's just like our name. So it's Morris Invest. YouTube.com/Morris Invest. Let me put it up. And we've got a lot of great videos up there that we rebuilt the channel actually. So if you are interested in your 401k, self-directed IRA, passive income, what to do with your taxes, we have a whole channel just for real estate investing. So again, this is youtube.com/Morris, like my last name, Morris Invest.
And don't you have...
So James, I hope that helps.
Isn't that part of the boot camp, the Get Empowered Now boot camp? Is that what that channel's for?
Yeah, it's all tied to that. So if you want to get right there, if you go to morninginvest.com/bootcamp, you can get a free 90-day boot camp that you'll download. It's a PDF that walks you through step by step how to get your finances in order. So, hey, new year, new you, maybe now it's time to do that. Download it for free. We take you week by week on how to get your finances in order. Understanding assets versus liabilities, your balance sheet, all of those things leading you towards financial freedom. And it's totally free. We worked on it for about 6 months. It took us to put it together, and it's free. So if you'd like it, morninginvest.com/bootcamp. And if you want to learn more about real estate investing, that's all right there as well, right here on our other channel. So like we had an interview, I'll show you like this interview we did with our brilliant tax accountant, Tom Wheelwright. And we did, let me see here. We did an interview with Tom, and talked about what you need to do at the end of the year. There's Natalie and I. This is our special year. We had Tom on the show to talk about what you need to do with your taxes.
The video's too loud. We can barely hear you.
You know exactly where you stand for 20.
Okay. Let me turn that off. Anyway, there's Tom. So we interviewed Tom Wheelwright, our brilliant tax accountant, the author of the book Tax Free Wealth. To do this, this is what you want to do with your taxes before the end of the year. So that's all over on that channel. If you want to check it out, again, go to youtube.com/Morris Invest. Yes, I have 3 channels. I've got a real estate channel, I've got our paranormal channel, and then I have our big boy, which is right here, which is Morning Invest, which is our main morning news show covering progressive issues for you and your family. So thank you guys. Yes, we do a lot of work around here to try to keep you informed. Grover is out on a walk, but I did want to show you this. If you missed earlier, everyone's wondering where Grover is. He was attacking a cat this morning, or playing around with the cat, and when I took him out on his morning walk. This cat is nonplussed. Cat's like, I'm not moving.
You need to make a meme out of this and put Asian carp above Grover's head.
These Asian carp are attacking us. It was highly effective. Grover, way to go get him. Oh, by the way, let me ask you this question, guys, in the chat while we're just kind of commiserating here. Well, what do you guys want? Do you think I should do a show on Christmas? I mean, I don't know. What do you think? I think
will that
by that
cut
time,
in your family time? Like what
I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, I'm making breakfast and stuff. I make my little thing every year called Johnny Cakes, which are have to rise overnight, and that's my family tradition. I think we'll be taking the day off on Christmas, and I think we'll probably have a separate video for you, but we might not be live on Christmas Day, so we'll just hang out with the family. But I will try to keep you informed. I don't imagine Congress will be in session, so there will be really any big news to report. But maybe on Christmas evening, we might do a live on Christmas evening just to kind of gather around and get together. So maybe we'll do something like that. I'll have to think about it. What do you think, David? Any ideas?
Yeah, no, I think that sounds good. I think you probably should take the day off. Maybe put out a video. And just so you guys know, all you channel members, as channel members, you don't just get access to chat during the show. You get access to behind the scenes vlogs and stuff. And Clayton just released a vlog yesterday of winter solstice, which is a really cute video. I love the unicorn comment that poops and pees.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard. I had to show Jen. It was like so funny, so cute. But you guys, if that is online right now, so if you go to the YouTube channel and you go to the community tab, you will see the video that we posted for you there yesterday as a paying member of the channel.
Yeah, just for channel members. So if you are a channel member, we're going to be doing more vlog style stuff there just for you. So if you support the channel in that way, we'll have that there. So thanks for reminding me to say that. A bunch of people are asking about my dad. Thank you, Ralph, for asking. Number of other people asking. He's doing better, I guess. It's hard. We spoke to the nurse this morning. He had a stroke a few days ago. He's 86 years old, and he was at the bank. He had gone to the bank and was stopped first at the post office, then he was at the bank, and he was trying to communicate with the teller at the bank, and they were like, "We don't understand you." And they called the ambulance and took him to the hospital. And unfortunately, because of COVID, we can't go into the hospital. Can't see him. So we're only able to drop things off at the front desk. My kids have been faxing pictures that they've been drawing so that they can put up in the room. But this is COVID. You can't go to the hospital. Can't go in unless it's end of life. And then they're only allowing one person to go in. So right now, they moved him to a recovery center where he's going to be doing rehabilitation. And the nurse or the doctor, the neurologist explained to me last night that what happens after a stroke, is that they'll go through a period where they may seem worse for a few days because the brain is like swelled and healing. And so that's the stage that he's currently in. And then there'll be a new baseline. So will he be able to speak effectively? Well, we don't know. It's going to be up in the air. So, but he will not be home for Christmas. So my mom has said, she's like, I'm going to keep up the tree until he gets home. And she's like, I'm not going to open any presents until he gets back. And so could be a few weeks. But she delivered a small Christmas tree to the hospital yesterday. And we've been, like I said, sending photos and doing what we can, FaceTiming as much as we can. So thank you guys so much for your kind words on that. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Really quick, Autumn Mitchell over on Facebook is asking, what is your paranormal channel?
Oh, the paranormal channel is on YouTube. It's called youtube.com/paranormalpost. So I'll put it up here again if you missed it. Look, I when I worked in the news business, I would always try to push my producers to cover UFO stories and big stories that were important. Stories, like pilots encountering UFOs. I was just interviewed recently on Ryan Sprague's great podcast. He does a podcast called Somewhere in the Skies. And he had me on there to talk about UFOs and everything else and my coverage when I worked in the mainstream media business. So I've got videos here you can see, like these unsolved lighthouse operators. The Tehran UFO incident is one of my favorite stories. So if you're interested in this type of stories. By the way, when you watch one of my videos, do me a favor and let the ad play. That helps us, by the way. Doesn't it?
Yes.
I know it might be frustrating, like if you watch our channel, but if an ad plays from one of the advertisers, like let it play. It only helps the channel a little bit. Just if it plays for a minute or, if it's a long one, if it's like an hour-long ad, okay, do what you want to do. But if it's one of those like 30-second ads, let it play that helps our channel, because an advertiser has decided that they want to support our channel with an advertisement. And so thank you if you allow those ads to play. Like my wife, because she knows we're in the YouTube world, anytime she watches like a gardening channel, these gardeners who make all these great stuff in the garden, she'll let the ads play. She's like, I'm sitting here. And then she bought something. There was like a course on how to be an at-home gardener and how to do this stuff. That was one of the advertisements. So she watched the ad. She's like, wow, that was awesome. And then she bought the course. And then she ended up watching the YouTube channel. So she supported, it was great. So anyway, I'm just asking you, these ads, help the companies. They also help our station here if you do that. And I never mentioned that, but I figured I should. So you see an ad pop up. I know you hate commercials, Mark, but it helps, So if you see an ad pop up, just let it go, Hey, Jennifer Rivera says, I just started buying crypto today. That's awesome. Oh, I wanted to ask you about the cat. Okay, so I know we're dragging on here, but David, I want to get your perspective on this too. So I wanted to get a cat. My wife wanted to get a dog. So we got Grover. And then, of course, he became like my little buddy. And now, I love the guy. But I said, we were going to give my son an allergy test to see if he was allergic to cats. And they came back from the allergist yesterday, and turns out he's not allergic to cats. But he is allergic to dogs. And so my son and daughter said, well, guess what, Mommy? Now we can get that cat. And she said, no. I said, yes, I want to get a Maine Coon. Do you know what a Maine Coon is?
Yeah, those are
beautiful cats.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful, and they're smart as heck. So
the only thing is, I lived on a farm, and we had outdoor cats, and I loved outdoor cats. But when my grandparents had indoor cats, and there's just a smell that's associated with cats that you can't really. I mean, you really have to manage them a lot to keep that smell. So if you're gonna get one, I recommend you get a female, not a male, because the males. I mean, I still have stuff in my closet that smells. I don't really, but. They spray stuff, and it's just not good.
All right, well, that's good to know. But I love Maine Coons. They're beautiful and they're smart. My ex-girlfriend years ago had a Maine Coon, and his name was Leo. And you'd call his name when you got home, and he'd come running. Be like, Leo, and he'd just run right up on you. He was wicked smart, and he was the best cat. So, yeah, I don't know. I can see if I can find a picture of Maine Coons. They're big. They're not that big, though. Some of the photos I was showing my daughter last night, they're like this big. And I'm like, no. Leo is not that big. They are huge, but not that big. I don't know. That's good advice. Maybe get a girl cat. I don't know. All right, I guess we got to go, don't we?
Oh, Cher says females can also spray. I never had a female spray. But yeah, we had a male cat that just sprayed everything. People are asking about the. It was just like a spraying machine, just like spurting that stuff all over the house.
Like a crop duster.
Mine.
Demo 442 says, hey, Clayton and David, what do you think is going to happen with this supposed new bill, $2,000 for everybody hits the Senate? I mean, I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. I think the worst case scenario in all of this is that it doesn't make it through the Senate because Republicans don't want to. Ted Cruz and others don't want to. And then what happens is we have to wait until Biden gets in before we see meaningful stimulus. I mean, I think that's I look at sort of the Occam's razor approach to things, right? Which is like, what is the most direct, the straight line that makes sense? And if these Republicans didn't even want $1,200, are they going to go along and call Trump's bluff, and then he won't vote for it? He'll veto this bill, and it'll be pushed down to Biden at the end of January. I think that's what's most likely at this point. It's sad.
It is sad because so many people are just hanging in the balance, and over Christmas. I mean, add insult to injury, why don't you?
And And you and I were talking last night about like why, like Tulsi Gabbard, of course, senator from Hawaii, who voted against this thing, and she ran for president. And she said, I voted against it because it was money for foreign governments. There was nothing in there for you, very little in there for you, and I voted against it.
Mm-hmm. Only 2 Democrats voted against it. Her and I think, how do you say her name? Rashida Tlaib or something? Or
yeah, Rashida Tlaib. Yeah.
Rashida Tlaib. Yeah, those are the only 2 Democrats that voted against it. But like you were saying, they're kind of like in a position where this bill was holding the American people hostage. I mean, that's basically what it was doing. And so they're just like cramming whatever they can cram into it to get that through. But I mean, that would have been a hard call for me to make too. I would have wanted that, but I would have refused to even, go in there and vote on it at that point. Like 5,000 pages.
Right.
But I'm not in there.
I don't know what I would have done either. Right. Fortunately, I'm not in there. I'm not a member of Congress. I would have been hard pressed to vote against it. I got to tell you. I mean, but I also, I think if I had time to go through this and I saw all of this crap that was in it, I would have easily voted against it. Knowing the expansion of military powers, money that's going to go to Egypt, which will go to buy military weapons from Russia. Like that's an easy decision. Once you start to go through the bill, then you're like, no way I'm voting for this piece of crap.
Well, and I think my justification would have been that knowing that $600 and what they proposed wasn't actually going to help people. Like, like $600 is, everybody's so like, you're so desperate. If they said it was $250, people would be celebrating because they need it right now. But I would have been like, $600 is just going to kick the can down the road for what? A week? That's your groceries. And then there 11 weeks, I think, for the unemployment benefits. Like, that doesn't get people through much at all. So that would have been my justification, I think, for just being like, we can get more.
Yeah, or we'll have to wait till Biden at the end of the year because it does more harm than good. Yeah, because $600 is nothing. And it does so much more harm than good, all the crap that's in here and money going out for, military expansion, military bases, etc. That's all thrown into this thing. How is that COVID related?
Well, and the
also,
streaming being a felony?
Border wall. Right. Yeah, the streaming provision, like you inadvertently are streaming crap and that becomes a felony. People are asking about Georgia runoff race. Here's the very latest if you want to see the numbers. So David Perdue is now basically statistically tied right now against Jon Ossoff, according to 538. So this is tied. Also, Kelly Warnock Kelly Loeffler and Raphael Warnock. Kelly Warnock, I keep getting them mixed up. Kelly Loeffler behind by a little bit, but these are statistical ties, folks, in Georgia. But you have a lot of pollsters that have left Georgia. You have a lot of pollsters that are not there anymore. They just up and left. I don't know why. Maybe they just don't have their names tarnished anymore. Like, are people really paying attention to like pollsters anymore after this disastrous response in the election? That far off back on November? Are they paying attention to these people anymore? I don't know. Thanks to all of our new channel members. We've got a whole bunch of new channel members here today. 32 of you. Thank you so much for supporting independent journalism. Being able to cover the stories that are outside of the mainstream media. I really appreciate that. You can become a channel member by going to morninginvest.com/join. Really appreciate that. Thank you. My little kids want to say hi. They're on Grover Cam. Hi. Where is Grover? There he is. You guys just got back from a walk?
Yeah.
Okay. Get it not on yourself.
I say hi.
You're not. You're gonna get. No.
Shaky cam.
All right. That's shaky cam. Don't do that. You're gonna get people. You're gonna cause people to have vertigo. Hi. How are you feeling? No, they don't need to see anything.
No, Daddy, put it on.
What are you gonna show them? Don't.
You'll see.
You can show us your butt.
No.
You never know. What are you doing? What?
You know.
I'm not putting it on until I know what I see in the camera. I'm directing this show.
No, I want to show you something.
Oh, you want to show me something?
Yeah.
All right, go show me. I'll take a look. The one I'm going to see here. Oh, a box showed up.
Yeah,
Okay, they
no
want to.
worries.
Oh, okay. A box showed up for me. Yeah. Last of the Christmas stuff. All right. Much love to all of you guys. We'll see you back here tonight for another edition of Morning Invest. Grover says goodbye from Shaky Cam. Can you keep it steady? Jeez Louise.
Joey.
There's Grover after a long walk. All right. Thanks, David. Thanks, everyone. Much love to all of you. We will see you back here a little bit later today. I'll have updates for you throughout the afternoon as needed. If you subscribe to the channel, turn on that little bell notification so you'll be notified as soon as we go live. All right. We'll see you, everyone. What?
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.